Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Player episode 191. I'm one of your hosts, Carl, and as always, I'm joined by a man who once had a meal with the band The Verve. They had seafood with lemon and honey. It was a bittersweet shrimp for tea.
That is a
What
good.
do you think?
That is a really good joke. That is a good joke.
I had my finger on the button.
What?
That's a great joke.
Oh, of course.
That's a
Sorry,
great joke.
I didn't even think.
It's only bloody Dan.
How you doing, Callum? You sexy bearded fool.
I am doing fabulous. How are you, my
Good,
bearded
mate.
wonder?
I'm very cold, but I'm in a cracking bloody mood today.
That's because
I'll tell
you're
you
in
that.
space. It's cold in space. Dan, no! He's either gone or he's doing a layer.
Oh yeah.
That's what she did, wasn't it?
As you probably noticed, Callum has now bought himself a stream deck and he's turned that exclusively into a soundboard to make stupid noises.
Not exclusively.
I mean, that's
I'll tell
all
you
we've
one
seen
thing.
so far.
Tell you one thing. I have made I haven't made it, but I'm using I've got a button for, you know, when we're uploading videos and stuff, and you got to put all your bloody tags in, and it's like podcast v player, podcast versus player, podcast space versus space player, podcast v player, and everything like that. I press the button and it just goes, and it puts everything in. So all we need to do now,
That's
when we do a video,
really a good little idea.
it is.
I didn't know you could use it for stuff like that. That's quite clever.
Yeah, I've set it up. I spent like an hour doing it, and then I've got what I like to call ECA, which is equalization, amplification, compression, amplification, and they've all got different settings and whatnot. I did show it you a long time ago, but that is literally click a thing, open the box, do this, input the value, change the sliders, put this, and you do that each time. And I do that every single time we use audio. I will do it with this podcast.
Yep.
With my stream deck, I press a button and it just goes, then he does it all for me. It's fantastic.
I might have to look into one of these now because that does sound quite useful.
Honestly, I'll do you a little video. not for you. You guys won't care. I mean, I might do it for a video. I don't know, but I'll show you like all the things that it does. I can change the lights on my PC. I can turn these lights on and off. Change the colours and stuff.
I can turn your living room lights off with my stream deck.
If I sent you all the stuff, you could. I'm not gonna, but
I just want to just flash the lights on and off, just middle of the night.
all of the recording stuff, it's all on here. I've got a button, so when we're going to film a video, press the button, then it opens up everything I need, and it resizes all the windows to where I want them on my monitors and stuff.
Oh shit! And who was it who supplied this stream deck? Where can people buy that from?
I mean, I bought it myself.
Oh, did you?
Sponsored by Elgato.
It's fine.
So,
I just figured that with any tech that we ever talk about, it's always something that someone sent us. So.
This week's podcast is sponsored by Geotech and the VX4 Premium Wireless Controller. The VX4 comes in a range of colours and is a great addition to your PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Slim or Pro, and also works on PC and Android. The VX4 has full motion control, a touchpad, and is a great way to game. Visit podcastversusplayer.com/review to see more. Anyway, Dan, we haven't got any news this week.
I think there has been news.
We have. We've definitely got news, but you already know about it, and it's a little something I like to call WandaVision.
Ah, well, speaking of WandaVision, there's also been the very first actual trailer for the Winter Soldier and Falcon that's dropped yesterday or the day before, maybe?
Sunday, Super Bowl.
Yeah. We haven't really seen much more of it, but we've seen Zemo in his cool proper
he's got his little purple
mask. And it doesn't look
Looks real
stupid, surprisingly.
I mean, when you look at it realistically, if they went full on comic book, it would look fucking stupid.
Considering how serious that whole storyline was as well.
Yeah. It was just like
this...
the golden age of comics, wasn't it? Everything's spandex and bright purple and orange and shit. But it's the same as Vulture. They haven't really deviated away from the actual design of Vulture. They've just modernised it, made it look cool,
more interesting. It fits the tone of what you're watching it in. So it will be interesting to see how that show looks, because I think when
WandaVision finishes.
That's it. There's a week to recover, and then we're straight in to Loki and fucking Winter Soldier and Falcon.
Like, what? That went quick.
No, that's. I'm hoping that we might get, after that's finished, we get a week break and then Loki kicks in. But I don't think that that's going to be the case.
I think the original plan was to have them more back to back, wasn't it? That was the original plan.
Yeah, so but they were supposed to be out like mid last year.
Yeah.
So it's all been pushed back. So hopefully it's just that they've just been compounded a little bit more towards this year.
I heard a little sneaky rumour that there is going to be a secret episode of WandaVision.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
I mean, it makes sense because it's a really random number to finish on, 9. But
there's like
10.
Netflix have got like 13 episode seasons. Like it's just whatever seems to fit the format that they're the story they're trying to tell. Otherwise, we would still have TV shows that are all 22 or 24 episodes long a season, which we don't have anymore.
No,
because people realise that was stupid.
I think it depends on the show. Like if it's a cartoon, I could probably go like 20 odd episodes of Rick and Morty a season.
I don't think so, because I think you'd have to space all of those really good jokes out.
I suppose Rick and Morty is probably a bad example, to be fair. But like the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff, they all had like really long, not really long, but probably in the 20s episodes. But then again, that's more. You can go 5 episodes focusing on like Kanan and Ezra and the rest of the Rebels, and then you can go another 6 episodes where they don't even feature. And you can just take somebody else from Star Wars.
Plus, there's obviously you don't have to worry about things like reshoots and what's physically possible for us to actually film. It's just all drawn and then rendered.
Yeah.
But
not just. We're not diminishing.
No. I mean
all the great artists.
Very difficult to do, for sure.
Yeah. But I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
Yeah. So with these, it's I'd rather they take their time and do them right. And from WandaVision so far, have we talked about WandaVision?
I mean, me and you.
No,
have.
not me and you. I mean, have we talked about it on the last?
We
podcast
very briefly.
We've had like 2 podcasts in the.
Yeah, we very briefly touched on it on the last podcast or the podcast before. I can't remember, but it was only brief, because we didn't want to fall into what we did with Mandalorian, where we start talking about it and then we don't talk about it and then we talk about it. So we were going to kind of go, once it starts kicking off, then we'll start going a bit more in depth into it. Which, to be fair, it has now.
It has now. Yeah, absolutely.
Before we start on that, though, did you fall for the Spider-Man shit? I did. Basically, a thing popped up, and there was a Spider-Man trailer at the Super Bowl for Spider-Man Homeworlds, and it's from like an actual, like valid news outlet. So I watched it, and I got halfway through, and I was like, "Hey, that was fucking Tom Hardy. What's he fucking doing here?" And then it got to Matt Murdock from Netflix's Daredevil. I was like, wait a minute, this ain't fucking real.
That doesn't sound
but
legit
it's
at all,
like Tom Holland swings through and he takes his mask off, and then it cuts to what obviously is the soundbite from Homecoming. It's like, wait, so you're saying there's like there's a multiverse and different dimensions, and then it shows you Andrew Garfield and bloody fuck, what's his name? Tobey Maguire. Fuck, I proper mind blank then. Like swinging through the respected cities and stuff, and then it's Eddie Brock and everything else. But it's a very well made trailer, but it's fake as shit. But it was like the super.
Maybe that's why they fell for it.
Yeah.
They were just.
It's very well made.
They saw it in just. Yeah.
Well, the shot at the end of it, because I turned it off after that. I was like, "Fuck's sake, turn it off." Man, that said, the ending shot is like really well edited, and it's all 3 of them swinging together. It's very well edited, but it's fake anyway. So. There was. I do believe that is the actual title of the film, though. Homeworlds.
That I didn't know.
Potentially,
but it would make a lot of sense if that's
the case.
Fits
with the theme. Far From Home, Homecoming, Homeworlds.
Do you reckon we'll get so like in the way, like in Into the Spider-Verse, there was like Spider Ham, Like it was still these real people, but then it was a cartoon. And they go, "You are a cartoon pig spider." They recognised him as a cartoon. Do you reckon that there will be a spider, like an actual cartoon Spider-Ham, or like the Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales or something like that? If it's just sort of like in a flashy web time dimension thing.
You might see different spider people, but I think it'll be more of a... what's the easiest way to explain it? You know, like the beginning of the Marvel films, you got all your comics going, and now it shows you like Captain America and all the guys from the films. I think it'll be like that, as they're like kind of going through a dimension. You might see other ones in the sidelines, but if it is getting...
It's like something for the DVD, basically.
Yeah,
so you can
and pick
pause
out all
it.
Different ones. Yeah. But I think if they do it, it's obviously going to be Holland, Maguire, and Garfield. Maybe Eddie Brock. Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock. I can't see him. See him trying to put any more in. And
but they could get Donald Glover in there. He could come back and slap him in.
Potentially,
or at least setting him up as it.
Yeah,
because clearly they've been able to, or at least people would know who he is if they've seen Spider-Verse, which is a big popular movie.
Yeah. Fantastic film. I actually watched it again a few weeks ago. I love that film.
Yeah,
super
belting, absolutely belting.
But yeah, WandaVision. Obviously, we're seeing as we're talking about dimensions and stuff. Big spoilers coming up.
Sense.
We're not going to touch on it straight away, but just so you know, there's going to be some spoilers. We will let you know when we get into the big ones. But
the biggies?
What do you think?
Skywalker moments.
What is the? Do you think this is going to be the biggest Skywalker moment that we're going to see?
It depends. We'll get to it.
Sorry, yeah.
We'll get to it.
So, what?
You just went, spoilers, but they're down the line. So that's spoiler, right? So, started out, so I was quite vocal from the outset that there was a level of intrigue and mystery of sort of like what's going on that was really quite interesting. But that was so fleeting compared to a full 50s, 60s, 70s sitcom episode that it didn't really add anything, like in my opinion. Like it was funny in the sense of, this is just silly because it's Wanda and Vision and they're in a weird sitcom, and it's just like the touches for how they made it, like they really sold it and made it as like a 50s sitcom, and clearly things were just like on strings or whatever, like,
which I liked all that,
the effort that they I mean, like the effort that goes into making it feel like it's from that era is really outstanding. I think you could have like, they've really put
an episode of this on after I Dream of Jeannie, and I don't think anyone would really tell the difference.
No, but I think that because obviously not last week's, the week before, that was when we really started to see real world, and then in the latest one, it kind of, there was a bit more of a crossover again, so it was a bit of sitcom, a bit of real world as well. Personally, I would have preferred if the first episode had ended in the way that like the third one did, where it was sort of like everyone was sort of like Vision, and they were sort of questioning what was going on, and then it changed to colour. Like, so if it had done a bit of 50s at the start, and then a little bit of break to the real world, and then back in the 60s, then back in the 70s, and then by the end of it, that's when it changes back to colour, and then go into the next episode, because I'm far more interested in what's going on with Maria Rambeau and like Jimmy Woo and the Mew Mew from Thor. Meow 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 meow.
Shit, I can't remember her name.
I can't remember her name.
I like her. I really like her.
Dr. Something.
I really like her. She's fun.
I mean, I like the fact that they've made sure that she's not just an idiot psychic.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, she's an astrophysicist now. So that's why she's been called in for like cool military stuff. I did like the whole, here's a helicopter full of like super smart people. Don't worry about any of them though. You'll never see them again.
Just so you're aware we've got them, just in case.
Yeah, there's a chemist and an astrophysicist and a whatever. So like those little things, I prefer seeing that, and like if anything, and I don't want to say this because I do really think that it has been well put together. It's intrigued me. Like I keep coming back every week, obviously, but I'd much rather see it from the other side. So it would be like that start with Maria like getting sucked in, and then like they're using the little TV and they're picking up
what's happening,
the broadcasts that are coming through, and it's 50s and 60s and 70s or whatever, rather than watching a whole. And I wouldn't mind so much. It would have pissed me off really badly if the first 2 episodes had come out weekly. Like, because they were both in together, I feel like I got a lot of that out of the way, and they could just then get to the good stuff.
I think they could have sped it up
in the 3rd and 4th
because they released them both together. They could have had the 3rd one being the breakout, kind of just like move it on a little bit more. But I mean, I liked it. It was like there was enough intrigue there, but it's only these last 2 episodes for me that I've liked it, and I've looked forward to it each week, but it's only these last 2 episodes that have proper made me be like, I can't wait till Fridays. It's going to be great.
Yeah, like getting back into Mandalorian territory of just like, this is, I can't believe that's how they've ended it. I have to wait another week for this.
Even the bad episodes of Mandalorian, not bad, but even the slower, not as exciting episodes of The Mandalorian still had me wanting the next one straight away, and I haven't had that feeling with this until the last couple, I must say.
I'd agree with that. Probably only after they introduced Maria, I think, because I don't know about you. I don't know if it was in the credits or anything like that, but I had no idea that was Maria Rambeau until someone called her on it. And I was just like,
well, how would you? You wouldn't. After all this time.
Know. But again, I don't know if it's sort of like if you look through like the cast credits, like at the end of the episodes, it's like Wanda played by
I watched the credits on the first one, and it's like 14 days fucking long. So I didn't watch any of the other ones.
Well, it might just be her cast name within the show, which is Geraldine. So it might have just said that. Rather than give the whole game
I'd like to think they're smart enough to not have these bits in.
Well, I mean, as soon as there's like the little clip from Captain Marvel, like the little sound clip, I was just like, it's Maria. Oh, this is what are they doing with this now? Where's this going to go? But yeah, I think that for the first sort of 2 or 3. It was like a nice way to sort of like introduce like the neighborhood and that, you know, she's got control over everyone, and everyone just seems to just be on the edge of figuring things out, or just knowing that something doesn't feel quite right. But then by the time it gets to that point, and like she spins things back a little bit, the episode ends. Like when it just gets like really interesting or whatever, and it's just sort of like, oh god, you're really dragging this like big thing out, and then fuck me, they paid it off. Like they really got me on this one. But like introducing Sword. So now we've got Sword, we've got Shield. I don't know how long before we get to. Well, I suppose we've already had AIM, haven't we?
Technically, but say because obviously
it's still AIM.
I mean, no, but I mean, like it wasn't. They didn't really delve into it past Iron Man 3, whereas obviously Shield's gone from the beginning all the way through. I imagine Sword's going to be the same kind of thing, even if it's just within the Disney Plus shows, kind of. It's just kind of mentioned in the films or something like that. But there's I completely forgot what I was going to say. I apologise. I was just proper blank then.
Awesome. Well done.
Have you watched the Mr. Sunday Movies video for the last episode of WandaVision? I watched it I can't remember if I watched it later that night or watched it the day after or something, but it was something I actually thought of this through the whole thing anyway, but they touched on it. I don't think Wanda's doing all of this. There's so...
See, I have watched that video now that you mention it, and I haven't got that impression. But now that they've said that, and it's got me thinking about it, they're probably right.
There's so much emphasis on, like, she's a terrorist.
That
she's done it. No, but when Sword are saying like,
that they're selling her as
she's a
like,
villain.
This is her.
But
I don't know, because I mean, it could just easily be, what if she's just like, she's stormed into Sword, she's taken Vision's body,
it was hacked
she's gone
to
back,
pieces.
She's like, I mean, I assume that they were tearing him open and like doing whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's also made of vibranium. How did they get those arms off?
Vibranium?
Possibly.
Lightsaber?
Is that what, do you reckon, Wakanda? Do you reckon they're saying, we're not going to try and like repair him or whatever, as we've got like the most advanced science in the world. We'll give you some vibranium swords, just have at it.
They may
enjoy yourselves.
They may have purchased some weapons from Claw in the past.
I suppose so, maybe. But it's from what I can see, or at least the way that they position it so far, it doesn't look like this is like a shield with a Hydra element to it.
No.
It's just like it's a normal government division.
Yeah, they're just focusing, like specialising in like alien, or extraterrestrial.
Yeah,
stuff.
Avengers fuck ups basically. Yeah. But like, she's just gone. Like, we saved everyone, but I still haven't got Vision back, and I'm not happy about it. So I'm going to make my own little place, and I'm just going to have my victory. I'm going to have like, there's only him and I suppose Black Widow, and Gamora. But like, although there was like an alternate dimension.
Yeah,
Gamora,
she's not the same Gamora.
But just nip into another fucking dimension and grab yourself a new Vision, for God's sake.
Now we've got the spoiler. It begs the question as, why didn't she just get a...
Why didn't you just do that?
Yeah, obviously we're getting closer and closer to this spoiler, so... Just so you're aware.
But yeah, there's like, so they've got like, they're using like the sword, figuring out what's going on with this reality stuff as like a good sort of like, let's just get some sidekick characters and bring them in that way. There was one thing that I did hear Maria say, where she was like, in order to get through this barrier, I need like a cadmium, titanium, lead lined £10,000 box or whatever in order to get her through that barrier back into Westview. Or an Iron Man suit.
Yeah, well, that's where
Ironheart.
Because there's a two thing I've seen. War Machine's been brought up a lot of times because apparently the technician that they're talking about is what he specialised in the army.
I mean, it could be.
Ironheart makes more sense in a...
Because I think that if she tried to like, so let's say that they get Don Cheadle back and they bring him in this show and say, can we borrow the War Machine armour? And he's like, no. Like, she'd have to have her own suit. But Rhodey couldn't build an Iron Man suit. Like, his suit is just one that he nicked from Tony Stark. So, unless they got Hammer back in, like, what's his name? Justin Hammer? Sam Rockwell?
Yeah.
Because they were, like, making a bunch of other suits or whatever. Or, like, if, Rhodey's like, why don't you just take this nano suit armour thing?
Oh, the kid from Iron Man 3.
Like maybe. You could bring... It's another named... Not unnamed, but another recognisable person that you could bring back in.
They made enough emphasis on him in Endgame. Spoilers! at the funeral. But Ironheart makes more sense because...
I just think that if it gets to the point, because like now she's like put up like it was a barrier, now it's like a super barrier. It's like...
The Hex.
Yeah, you're not even going to get drones through this now, like... Everything's going to die, so you're going to need something like super heavy duty to get through it. So, if Rhodey's like, I'd love to help, but I've got more important shit to be doing or whatever, then that would make sense because then you could tailor that suit. Or if like Wanda's got this sort of like reality. Like I loved that when she was like, "Oh yeah, the clothes that I came out in are still bulletproof because like it all got like Kevlar merged together." So what I'd love to see is it goes to like the sitcom sort of carries on until it's like a more modern day. So it's like
Friends or something.
Friends,
yeah,
or probably a bit more.
2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps.
Yeah, sure. And she goes in like a cardboard box robot suit, and just sort of like clumps on in. And as soon as she crosses the barrier,
it turns into a proper suit,
into the Iron Heart.
That'd be pretty cool. That's a really good idea, actually. That is actually genuinely a good idea.
Because like they have to, but they haven't really sold Maria as being like a technical spec. Like they've like clearly she's like an astronaut or whatever. Like she's capable, but they haven't said that.
It makes more sense because she's already established, and we've only got like 3 episodes left, 4, 5 episodes.
Well, it starts like.
What are we on?
It's like the 21st or the 19th of March or something. Winter Soldier Falcon starts, isn't it?
Well, that's next week.
Sort of mid.
Oh, March.
No, we're in February, mate. Sorry. So we're still like four weeks
so we got like 4 weeks.
So it's got to be another 4, I reckon. Yeah.
So it'd be a bit weird to pull somebody else into it that we don't know. So I don't know. Because
this is the thing. I think there's going to be, if anything, there has been one big name that's been shown in the last episode, but I don't think that has the potential to be the biggest. I think that the impact and the possible future that comes, I don't think that this show will be beaten by what that opens up.
Not unless the next one we see is actually Luke Skywalker.
I mean, if Luke Skywalker comes through, or it's Captain Marvel fighting a Death Star, then fine. But I'd say that Captain Marvel is probably a likely cameo. Like Brie Larson, probably not even in the outfit, just sort of
you see the back of her head
milling around or whatever.
I think
either her Rhodey, that makes sense.
I reckon Doctor Strange is going to make a sneaky peek.
If Doctor Strange does, that is a last episode, 10 minutes.
I've got a feeling this is going to tie. I mean, I'm not going to say go and listen to a certain one because I can't remember, but we've said before on previous podcasts that this is going to tie into the new Doctor Strange
Pretty
film.
sure they've already.
It's got to,
pretty much been confirmed that this is.
So I reckon he will make an appearance in it.
I just want to see like this brand new like hex impenetrable wall that she's got. Like there's you've got sword outside with drones and machine guns and shooting, and nothing can get through it. And then you've got Captain Marvel blasting it, and you've got Rhodey missiling it, and then Doctor Strange just walks up and goes, and just opens it.
Just walks
it's
straight
just
in.
like bullets and shit. It's just like, come on, guys, you're better than this.
Why didn't she do this to Thanos? If it is her doing it,
if it is her, then it's probably like one of those things that like grief has just sort of opened that possibility up.
Well, that's what it is in
like,
House
so
of
she's
M,
just
isn't
so
it?
despondent.
Like when her kids die, that's what causes House of M, and she has that massive breakdown. Which I assume is kind of where they're drawing a little bit of inspiration from for this.
Maybe. But there's also no X-Men or Magneto to...
Isn't there?
Like, to continue the rest of the House of M story. But...
Isn't there?
Alright, so last episode. That last episode was probably the best one
definitely.
Before we even get to the end point.
Had a lot of good bits in it.
Because there's... like where... Obviously they clarify that Vision... he hasn't just... This isn't like a piece of his mind that's in... Or a hurt remembrance of him or whatever. Like, she physically took his body and brought him back. However, she pulled that off. But then he's started to understand what is going on. And then it's sort of like... It's kind of like waking up from a dream.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, whilst you're in the dream, everything makes sense. And it doesn't matter. But then as soon as someone... Inception style.
Yeah.
So if someone says... How did you get to this? How did you get to be here right now? And you're like, I don't know. And you go, well, that's how you know you're dreaming. So he's having these kind of awakening, and then he frees that poor guy who's just like, oh my god, she's tearing my mind apart, and then puts him back under again. And I was just like, shit the bed. this isn't like
a happy thing,
a happy mind control experience for whatever that looks like.
But they do specifically say she, not Wanda. It's always she.
Yeah, so it could be the old dun dun dun.
It's going to be the other. It's going to be the other bird, Agnes or whatever her name is, because she hasn't got a casting either. She's not on the casting wall.
Oh, is she not? I didn't notice that.
No, I think she is, but it's a question mark. Like they don't know who it is. Like everyone's got like their real name, where they're from, etc., and then who they're playing.
Right.
She hasn't got one, and nobody's met her husband.
Oh, Ralph. Yeah, because she keeps on banging on about him, and yet, Well, the kids actually, because they go from the whole pregnancy has been like over the space of a day or whatever, but they can age themselves up. Now, I don't recall what Wanda's kids in the comics could actually do. I imagine they're still mutants.
In the WandaVision, I don't think it's called WandaVision, but like the WandaVision comics, they're both the kids are little visions. So they've got like
Baby Vision was a little. That photo slideshow thing. That was great.
Which is really weird considering they wasn't those ages.
No, but that's I thought it was just going to be. It'd be like a toaster, and then like a TV, and then it would be Vision or whatever.
But it was it was very well made and that. But yeah, in the like the suburb family lifestyle comics, but the kids have both got like vision heads and stuff. So
right. Okay.
But it does seem, from what Monica says, she says that the kids are real. Like a lot of this stuff
Monica's
might
dead.
see fake, but that was real.
Maria,
sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, so if they were to come out, potentially they are real or something, or maybe she's just taken two actual kids and
put them inside her.
I don't know. Well, that you could just sort of. People could assume that that's what.
Well, no, because that's what Maria was saying, wasn't it?
Like,
she was saying that I was there. I helped deliver the kids.
Yeah, but you can't just she can her powers come from the Mind Stone, right?
Yes. Well, no,
the Tesseract
in the movie, because the powers are different in the movies to the comics. Because in the comics they are like hex magic based.
It's magic, actual magic. But no. So in this, I'm pretty sure it's the Tesseract. No, it's the spear. Sorry, that's the Mind Stone.
Yeah, because they get
so,
her and Pietro get tested on because they're not mutants in this.
That's why she could get into people's heads and stuff, because they're born of the Mind Stone. So you could, I'm sure that she could very easily create this whole hallucination thing and control everyone's minds to be under it. But I didn't know that, or at least it's not been alluded to, that her powers also extended to physically creating and growing life. Like it would just be the imprint that she'd be giving everyone else who would see that is what's actually happening.
She can't control them either. They made that very apparent in the episode. Like she couldn't get them to stop crying. She couldn't. She says it like 3 or 4 times.
But maybe she didn't put them in her. Maybe if it's this other woman.
Maybe
she made her pregnant and then somehow made her think it was her. Like it was just all fine and natural or whatever.
Because she's the weirdest of the lot. Like when she comes, she's like, "Oh, sorry, shall we take it from the top?"
Oh, I love those. What? I love it when it's just sort of like it's mid sitcom or whatever, and then the laughing stops.
Yeah, it's just really
and it's
jarring.
just someone
because they did it on the first one,
and then it'll just start back up again.
When he's choking when they're having dinner. And the boss and stuff.
But that's the thing. Like it was. I suppose that if you want to think of it like that, that's the build up to get people sort of like, what is going on in this, and that's what they did to me. It's just that I didn't want to waste an hour and a half before I got to the point where this is this is really something now. But yeah, when Vision, because he seems to snap back some of his own personality, and he's just like, you can't do this. This is super wrong. Like you shouldn't be doing this. Like people are in absolute agony. And then they have a bit of a face off, But I was just like, are they going to just fucking blast the shit out of each other right here and now? But then, yeah,
because that was really good. Like, because the credits come up, and it's just like,
and then it just,
and they're just like,
because I thought it was just going to end there. Like not at that point, but like where it was just sort of like the doorbell went or something like that. I thought it was at that point that it would end, and it would just be like, oh, tune in next week to find out where. I did not expect that it would be, because I was just like, okay, who's this going to be? Is it going to be Maria? Like, has she managed to get away in there? Is it going to be? I don't know. There was a few things that were going through my head in the same way when I was watching Mando, last episode of season 2 of Mando, and that X-wing flew in, and I was just like, it's not going to be Luke, because that would be
we did a podcast
incredible.
on it, didn't we?
So who's it going to be?
Like,
if it's
the first thing we said was it's not going to be Luke. So and
no, but it's just sort of covering the things off to be like, it would be amazing if it was, but it's also a TV show, so it's not really going to be. And yet Disney seemed to be pushing the boundary of that doesn't matter anymore. Now it's just like, you want to get Luke Skywalker in your show?
As cinema.
Boom, done.
That's how they're looking
Pretty
at
much,
it.
yeah. In terms of budget and
especially
the money
Mando.
they're making from it, no doubt, as well. Yeah, definitely, and that's only going from strength
it's fantastic.
to strength. Rightly so.
But yeah, we get to see someone who, in more than one instance, you don't expect to see. It's kind of alluded to earlier on in the episode when the kids ask her if she's got a brother. And there's
which is a peculiar thing to ask. They're like an hour old at this point.
But there's a very weird moment where she's just like kind of like focused, and then just comes back into it again. And you're like, that was weird. And then as soon as the door went, I was like, I said to Zoe, "No, my point, she's not there." If you watched last week, she might be down here somewhere crawling around. But I was like, it's going to be Quicksilver. But I didn't expect it to be who we saw. Which again,
Quicksilver.
Go on.
Like I didn't see. At least he wasn't sort of like an initial. That's going to be who it is. I figured it was going to be someone that we'd seen already. At most, at a biggest possible Luke Skywalker stretch, it was going to be Doctor Strange. He was just sort of like, what's going on here? Why is a whole town mind controlled? What the fuck? The back of the head, Quicksilver, silver hair, I was just like, not bad. Like, bringing him back. And then as soon as the camera went round, I was just like, I'm not joking. I was like this. Like, I couldn't, I was... That's why I messaged you, because I messaged you and said, I know you haven't, but please tell me you've watched WandaVision. Because no one I know had watched it at that point. I had no one to talk to.
When
you
texted me, it was like... What time was it? It was about 8 o'clock, I think, or something, wasn't it? Like evening time. Maybe a bit earlier than that.
Probably.
And I got home about 20 past 10. So normally I'll watch WandaVision. Obviously it's on the Friday, and me and Zoe will watch it together on the Saturday. And I got home about 20 past 10ish, and it says I had a quick shower, come down, put Disney Plus on. Shall we do? And I was like, we're gonna have to. Something big's happening because Dan's texted me. So he doesn't normally text me unless it's been like a banger of an episode. So I watched it on the Friday night instead of the Saturday. Yeah, I literally came home, got like I say, like showered up and whatnot, made a drink, watched it, and I went, wow. And even Zoe didn't fall asleep either.
Oh, that's a sign of a compelling episode. It's got to be. If Zoe's fallen asleep during it.
On the
I mean, this is the thing though, because it's a couple of things.
This opens up a whole
anything,
can of
isn't
worms.
it? So it's and this is where the sort of like the hypothetical train really starts to get some speed up, because it's like, okay, is this just like, it's just someone who's played Quicksilver that people would recognise, but it's not like he doesn't actually exist, or it's just next week it will be the guy who she just reskins him, and he's the Quicksilver from what's his name, Aaron Davis or something. Yeah. So is it just going to change back and it's going to be him, and it's just a cheeky little we've got this other guy, he's also played Quicksilver as well. That was a little tease for you, wasn't it, just to get you back next week? Or is that actually,
I think,
Quicksilver from the X-Men series?
That moment where she has that pause when she's talking to the kids, and she has that weird moment before she snaps back into it, and she's like, but like he died, blah blah blah. I don't think she can bring him back to life. So the next best thing is to. He's not a real person, is he? It's a USB stick. You just plug in a.
But if anything, that's harder to recreate, because you're not just.
Might not be real. He might not be real.
That hole of his head, that seemed pretty fucking real to me.
No. I mean, like, if they hadn't got this hex field, he might not be able to leave that hex field.
Oh yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Like, I think he's just like an avatar, like his digital self of.
Yeah. Like, that's what I mean. Like, because got like when they have that very quick flash when it's dead vision. I think that is what he looks like.
So she's just like animating and like creating her own thing, but that still means though that she's still either it's all in her own mind, and there is just a Vision corpse just bobbing around like a stick, just sort of, and then talking to her, because like that's what in her own mind. But then why would she do that to herself? It would seem more likely in that scenario that someone's doing it to her. Trying to, keep her happy so that you can feed off her power or whatever.
Well, the when because she says to Vision, and she seems pretty sincere. She didn't. When the bell goes, she's like, I
didn't do that.
I didn't do that. And then when she answers the door, and he's just like, for some reason as well, it's from fucking Brooklyn now. It's like, hey, I'm walking here.
But isn't that his Quicksilver accent in X-Men?
I don't think it was. I don't think it was, because he's quite.
I watched Apocalypse the other day.
He's quite jittery,
actually,
isn't he?
But he's quite cheery. He's probably probably James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender. He's probably the best part of that film franchise.
Yeah, but that's like the best bit of a Kinder Egg is the toy. It's not great though.
No, but he's got the most memorable scenes.
He's got the most memorable scenes in him. But I prefer the MCU Quicksilver.
I disagree. I
really did.
This,
I liked Aaron Johnson.
I much prefer this guy.
Aaron Johnson, that was his name.
Aaron Johnson, that's it. Yeah. No, I much prefer his version of Quicksilver, just simply for the fact that because it's weird because they've written him out of like his actual storyline, which is a bit fucking daft. But I get why the Marvel Cinematic Universe couldn't do it, because they don't own the rights to Magneto. But then
that's why they changed it.
Yeah, exactly. Which that makes sense. But in the X franchise, the Fox X-Men thing, he's still Magneto's son.
Yeah. But in the comics, he's not
they
anymore.
They changed that as well.
Like they changed it.
Whatever
in the
MCU says goes now.
That's
it, isn't it?
Yeah, because that's what they own it, don't they? So they can't have Magneto, so take all that bit out of it.
Well, now they can fix
they're
it.
not mutants anymore.
Now they can just go, no, how it was all before, that's how we're doing it.
Actually, you are mutants. But it's only when he goes, he's like, hey, you're not going to give you...
He's like, you're going to give...
what is it like? I can't give my sister a squeeze?
Yeah.
And she's just like... Pietro? And he's like...
But the thing is that...
So it seems like she doesn't know who he is.
Well, no, but she just doesn't recognise it.
Yeah, because obviously
he doesn't
face. Look like that.
Yeah, but I like the fact that they've gone with... We haven't just... It's not the same Quicksilver that was in these films and died. Yeah. It's a different Quicksilver and a different actor, and she can tell them apart. So it's not like they've just recast Aaron Johnson. She goes, I think you're supposed to be this guy, but you haven't. I don't recognise you, sort of thing.
Which makes me think she hasn't done it, and it is the work of.
But someone's convincing her that it is
Control.
it is her actual brother. But then,
because I mean, if somebody showed up, like you had a non-mutant brother with silver hair, and obviously you do miss him and whatnot. They were very, very close. Actually, that's another point. Somebody pointed out and said, like, when she comes out of the hex, she's got a Sokovian accent back.
Yeah, but she didn't have that in like any of the
films
she after.
Only had it in Ultron.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's just completely going back in time.
Yeah,
but there's like because in the Fox X-Men films, I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I've seen. What's the first one?
Days of Future Past.
Is it Days of Future Past?
Is
that the first one that Quicksilver shows up in?
No, Quicksilver's in. So it's Days of Future Past. Last Stand, First Class.
He's not in. He's not in.
Naming every
he's
other
not in
one.
First Class.
No. I'm saying you got First Class. Is it 3 or 4?
There's 4 because there's First Class.
So what's the second
Days
one?
of Future Past, Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix.
I'm Phoenix, yeah. So it's Days of Future Past.
Okay, yeah. So in that, I'm pretty sure he has a little sister. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe.
Don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've seen it, but I'm pretty sure that his mom, like, he's talking about Wanda or something like that, or he's got a sister, or something like that. Anyway, but that means that if this is that same Quicksilver, he's also been tricked to recognise who she is related to him.
Yeah,
because
obviously it's not his sister.
Same Quicksilver, but from the 60s or the 80s or whenever the fuck those films are supposed to be set. Like, how is he supposed to recognise like this? But this is the thing. It depends on whether is it just a brilliant little haha got you little trick, and it's just going to go whoop, and it's not actually, and he's never talked about ever again. Or is this legit the actual, like, best possible case scenario, he's an X-Man from the Fox X-Men universe, and he's been plopped out and plopped into this.
Well, they had the chance with Infinity War and Endgame to bring mutants in as a result of the snap, which I still think was a fantastic idea, but they didn't do it. This is the next thing they can do, tying into Doctor Strange,
Dimensions,
Spider-Man,
Fantastic
all
Four,
these different. We've already got Gamora, so everything. If you want to bring in the X-Men in a way that isn't stupid, obviously it's convoluted because it's different dimensions or whatnot. Hello, because it's time travel and different dimensions and alternate realities and stuff. It's never simple.
Someone from a different dimension from a different point in time from that dimension. So. Which is mental.
I think this is how they can do it. He has to be from the Fox universe. And I'm not saying that those movies have to exist within the MCU, but the people can.
Well, the actors can, certainly.
I think that is the easiest, and I think that's a way you can bring it in that everybody will get a grasp of. Might not be nice and smooth and fluid, but you go, there's another dimension. These guys have been sucked in. Now they exist in the MCU.
Or at the very least, because if you're going like the whole look, she can create. Let's just say it is Wanda that's doing all this. Let's say that she's made this town and her suburb sitcom life with Vision out of her grief for losing Vision. Well, what if, as an extension of that grief, she pulls it, like she brings her brother back, but because she can't just rematerialize someone like a fucking teleporter, or create them out of thin air, accidentally she just finds another brother from a different dimension. Like, if it wouldn't have even been intentional, I reckon, unless if she's being manipulated or used or whatever, someone is like pissing about with like dimensional shit, like trying to bring their own relatives back or something like that, and then testing it all on her to see if she can like focus that kind of power, bring him back, and then she's like, well, that's not actually the same one. So it's not like this whole time travel thing in the MCU where it's just like, well, your past is not your past, it's your future. It's so you can't really go back and take someone from that without
different threads.
Forget it. Like, funnily enough, it's easier to explain she's from a different dimension. It's just there's infinite dimensions, and you just boop. It's just that he happens to be different.
Far From Home, didn't they, with Mysterio? I know he wasn't from another dimension.
It was the claim, but it's
and they were just like,
but no one went. Different dimensions? Are you mental?
Yeah.
There's no such thing. They were just like,
just played along with it.
Sure, you're from a different dimension. That we fight aliens every other day. Yeah, why not?
Because it's believable. Because within this world, like, it seems far more plausible that there's alternate dimensions going off in tandem with the like Earth. What Earth is the Marvel universe? The MCU? I can't remember what it is. But what, like,
something?
No, it's whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's far more believable. There's all these different dimensions. Then there's a guy who's got a glove. Who's got some gems on it. It's like 214 or something.
199,999. That's
exactly not what I was thinking.
That is the Earth. Oh, hold on.
Isn't it? I'm sure it's like 412 or something.
With Marvel Comics, most tales take place within the fictional Marvel universe. Most Marvel storylines, this is comic-wise, designated Earth 616. That's where I was getting 16 from, I think. And then it's something to do with the Agamotto and Captain Britain and whatever. But yeah, the MCU one is officially designated as 199,999. 999.
There we go then. Now we know. There you go. But yeah, that seems more believable than there's a purple guy with grapes for a chin who has got a glove and he can snap his fingers and.
Well, if you can get past that and it makes sense to you, then someone being plucked from a different dimension.
That's what I mean.
Old hat, isn't it?
Yeah, it just seems like
sure
that'll work.
Yeah.
And then the only thing that they'll have trouble with is if they remember things from their dimensions.
Well, this is the thing I was going to make. So, if we say, in my head, this is how I want this to kind of go to make sure that it's as interesting for me personally as it possibly can be. That is Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men series. He has been pulled through a dimensional rift, intentionally or not, whatever. But if they could, if this kind of opens the doors to X-Men, then that means that you could basically pop through any dimension and grab any old fool out. Blade,
Deadpool.
Boop. Punisher, boop. Deadpool, boop. I mean, well, Deadpool's within that universe anyway.
Well, it's already, like, Deadpool 3's already been confirmed that it's part of the MCU, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that would just be him just sort of like, he'd slag off Fox for a bit and then just like going into the Marvel HQ building or something. And he's like, yo, I work for you guys now.
It's a far easier one to do.
Pumping Disney Castle or whatever, I don't know.
But it's interesting, and I think I'll be very disappointed if they go what you've already said. Next episode, it's just like zzz, 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 and it just like kind of glitches, and then it's Aaron Johnson. As much as I like Aaron Johnson, this is far more interesting. But
that's what I mean. I think there might be, like a Hawkeye appearance or something like that, because obviously he sort of like initiated them into the Avengers or whatever. So like, I reckon that we could still get a name like Hawkeye or Captain Marvel or whatever. Yeah. But I don't think that even if you got them in at this point, that isn't as interesting as which Quicksilver is that, and what does that mean? Is it just a throwaway face that they just say, oh, we just had the guy here and it was just a bit of a fun thing just to fuck with everyone? Like, if this happened in like April or something like that, I wouldn't believe it for a second.
It's like somebody's like just edited this in, kind of thing. What if the next one is like you've got Ian McKellen and he's got a baseball glove and he's just like, come on, son, let's play catch. That'd be fantastic, to be fair.
It would be. I don't know if he'd come back for it.
I don't know. I think he enjoyed playing Magneto, didn't he?
I don't know. don't know, you know. I mean, if anything, it's probably just that was the point that he got to be best friends with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
so that's got to be a highlight.
I don't think he'd come back to play Magneto.
I don't know. I reckon he probably would. You know, if it's just sort of like you'd just be in a wheelchair and we'll just push you around for a bit. And you just say some things dramatically.
Well, I know Jackman had said the only way he'd come back is if he could be in an Avengers movie. But this was years and years ago, way before the Fox deal.
I don't know if he's pushing his luck with it. Maybe
I think it was more of a play to get Fox and Disney to do a deal and get him over together, kind of thing.
Yeah. But after watching Logan again for I think it was like a week or two film. Ago, that is a perfect ending to a character. Yeah. You can't bring that back. I'd much rather that X-23 gets brought in.
I mean,
it's
X-23. X-23, yeah.
Yeah, 23, yeah, sorry, it is, yeah. I'd rather that her, like, that actress, now that she's grown up a bit, like, or
Dakin.
So, like, have her still with that same...
Dakin in there?
Dakin might be interesting, but that means that you'd also have to explain Dakin.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. And then say, Wolverine knocked up what's-her-face in Japan, and then Dakin cut his way out of her, and now he hates Wolverine. No,
what I mean is that... like we've seen X-23, we've got that character, we understand that relationship. Like, introducing Dakin as in putting him in is as easy as doing it for literally anybody, I suppose. Yeah. Like, you just put him in and just write him in to fit that situation. But we've already done that with X-23.
Yeah, we've already done
so bring her in.
The groundwork for it.
And the good news is, as well, that with the MCU, they've got no issues with people going around killing each other.
Yeah.
So, maybe not quite as gruesomely, but she could certainly do some sweet flips and she could be the Black Widow.
Maybe. Get her in there.
X-23
Get the
Black
Dark
Widow.
Avengers going.
Yeah.
There's so much room for, like, genuinely phenomenal TV.
Some really cool stuff.
But I've got a feeling it's not going to do it.
I just don't know if it's going to pay off.
We'll find out. We've got a couple of days to go. We can see the aftermath of the last episode and maybe get a better idea.
Oh, they better not just go, oh, boom, it's just all a sitcom. This whole episode is just a sitcom from the 80s. And we're not gonna touch on him at all. Because I'll be fucking livid. But, like, hearing, like, James McAvoy's voice in his head or something like that, just to oh my god.
Imagine if he's like that and he's just like, he's just like, you need to tell us where you are, and we'll come find. We'll try and find you. And then it's like, kind of like goes like left and right sound, and it's like, hello, is that you? And it's Patrick Stewart. Is somebody there?
It's like, I'm in a room. I'm in a world. It seems better somehow. It seems like there's a better budget and scriptures.
There's far more money here.
Everything just seems a lot more better quality.
That'd be brilliant. It's not gonna happen, but that'd be brilliant.
No.
But I say we'll find out. It's what day are we on today? Tuesday. So we've got 3 days to go. 2 days to go technically, and then Friday we get the brand new episode. But on that, Dan, I think we'll wrap it up. I'm all wandered out.
I think so, mate. That'll do.
So to speak. Let's get the hell out of here. If you want to check more stuff out, including more spoilercast podcasts, let's plays, game shows, animations, reviews, and plenty of other stuff, head over to podcastversusplayer.com. I forgot the podcast.
That's right. I was paying as much as.
That's a great joke. That's a great joke.
That wasn't a joke. That was just me being a twat.
It's all worth it. Anyway, Dan. Before we go, I just want to leave you with one thing.
Back to life, back to the islands. There's
Bye.
a little teaser for next week's ARC episode.
Oh, yes.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye, Dan.
Pew.